hello, friends, and thank you for tuning into another fabulous episode of the Color of Money podcast. It is your girl, Julia Lachey, and I am solo dolo. My cohorts, my partners in crime, my brothers, my co-hosts, none of them are here today. No Bo, no Emmerich, no Daniel, just me and my special guest, Kito Smith. So Kito and I are going to have a conversation about real estate. As you all know, in this podcast, we focus on 4 different pillars: real estate, leadership, wealth building, and development. And Kito happens to be one of the top sales professionals in the San Antonio area. He has built what do we call it, Kito? What would you call your business, Kito?
A thriving but growing but ever evolving real estate team. How about that?
He has built a thriving, growing, ever-evolving real estate team, and Kito is here today to talk to us about it. Introduce yourself to our listening and our viewing audience. Kito Smith, who are you?
Good afternoon in the Midwest. Good morning still here in Texas. So I'm Kito Smith. I am a son of a hardworking mother who didn't get to, I feel like didn't get to live out her full life. And so one of my biggest whys is that trying to make her happy, trying to fulfill her dream of homeownership and other people. We was never able to afford that. And so my why would be to fulfill my mother's dream in other people. And so that's documented. I've stated that over and over again. And I know we're supposed to change our why, but I haven't found anything to make me want to change that why yet. So, um, moving forward, I am a father of a amazing young daughter. Um, my daughter's 25 years old. Um, she's very like she's more or less introverted, and so I don't really blast her out like that too much. She like to kind of stay in her own world, and I respect that of her. And I am originally from the great state of Michigan, and I moved to Texas about 11 years ago now. And I've made this my home, and been doing real estate for almost 10 years, about 9 years, and just growing and trying to learn as much as I can and be the best real estate professional I can for my clients, and also be a great team leader and mentor for my agents as well as a leader in the office of Keller Williams Heritage as well. So.
All right. Well, so a lot of people that we have on here started in real estate, and some of them have evolved into doing just development. Some of them are flipping. Some of them are doing all the things. What
Mhm.
brought you to real estate, and how did you get started in this beautiful industry?
I used to go to a certain barber shop all the time. And there was an individual, he was a new home salesperson named Ruben, and he continued to tell me that I should get into real estate. I should get into real estate. And so finally, my mentor who brought me in, his name is Donovan Jackson. He has Noble Group Realty, minority owned real estate company, and he continued to tell me that I should get into it. So I actually looked into it, and during work, sitting in my cubicle, I started doing my real estate classes online. What I should have been working, but you know, I had a dream of working and being my own boss. And I always was told that it was untapped income potential, and I didn't really realize what that was, what that looked like, but I knew it was something that I wanted to explore. And so when I went and passed my test on the first try, and I just jumped off the boat into the real estate world, and here I am 9, 10 years later, and I'm still thriving. I'm still viable. So I'm thankful for that.
Well, that's a journey all in of itself. A lot of people want to do real estate, and not many are able to or find the way to go ahead and just jump straight into it. How did you do your first year when you decided you wanted to do real estate?
I actually did pretty well my first year because I had 2 renters. My very first clients was renters, and I was able to convince them to look into purchasing, and I switched them to a purchase on both of them. So I was able to actually put something under contract in my first month, where I know that's not very common. And then just from there, we just grew. I probably did like 10 homes in my first year. And then we just grew from there. So when I say we, that was me at the time.
But what does your team look like now?
Now, I have, of course, we have a director of operations, an admin. We have a marketing, a young lady that just came on to do some marketing for us. I have two licensed agents, which I cut that down all the way from eight down to two. Just addition by subtraction. Sometimes you have to make some decisions that you may or may not want to make, in order to move forward. And we all know how this market is right now. And so, it costs money to carry a lot of people around with you at times. And so you just have to do addition by subtraction so we have two really strong agents that's wanting to learn, that's hungry to learn more and to grow. And so I'm able to work with them and where I don't have to throw 100% of my time into them, but they will take heed to what I actually ask them, tell them, train them, and with other people that I bring in to train them as well and move forward with that. So I'm excited about it, the future for them.
So, about how much volume transactions? Tell us what your team looks like. You started with 10 transactions your first year, and
Hmm.
actually, I do have a bio, and it said 20. So you might be undercutting yourself a little bit. You started out with about 20 houses your first year, and then you what do you all do now? You and the other two agents that are with you.
So at the height of our right before the great halt in our real estate market right now, we were at about 20 million. Last year we were at about 10.
And
Um,
what does that mean for people who don't sell houses? You were at 20 million. What?
Total homes sold.
Okay.
Right now we're actually doing pretty well. We're at about 5 million right now for the first quarter and a quarter in a month. So yeah, I'm looking forward to move, what we got going on. We're just trying to switch things up. I did dive into bold. I know you wanted to dive in on that,
Yeah.
so I did dive into bold.
Which one is that, Keto?
So
Yeah.
bold is basically a class that is very, very vigorous. It is a real estate centric class only. It's very driven on making contact with your sphere, making contact with people, being present. We're talking about intense 5, 6 hours once a week, every week. So we go every Tuesday for 6 weeks. And we sit in a class. And right now our class is rather big. I think we have about 60, 70 people in the class. So it's pretty
Mhm.
big.
I brought that up because you said you mentioned a couple of things when you started this conversation off talking about your big why, which some people may not even know what that is, but it's your why, your purpose of why you get up and you go out and you do these things. And ultimately, when we have the conversation of the color of money and we talk about wealth building means different things for different people. For some
Hmm.
people, it's having time is makes them wealthy. Having relationships make them wealthy. But ideally, kind of the concept behind bold is to live a life by design. In fact, it stands for Business Objectives Life by Design. So in your world, and in your journey to building wealth and creating the life by design, which you obviously did when you took the journey into real estate,
Hmm.
how does what you're doing now tie into your version of building wealth?
So essentially for me, coming from where I derived from in Michigan, it was definitely not uh, um, I could say a place where a lot of people make it in life, period. Either you're in sports or you were really, really, really amazing in school and you made it to the University of Michigan and you went out somewhere else. But normally it's just you graduate, you get a job and you hang out, right? Statistics state that should be on drugs, selling drugs, dead in jail, whatever may have you. But I'm not one to let statistics dictate who I am going to be or who I should be. So with that being said, I always seen the opportunity in real estate, as far as owning homes and things of that nature. It just never was something that I was privy to from my mother or my father. So I never knew what that was. But I also understood what a landlord was. And I also understood that somebody else owned this home that we live in, and they have full autonomy over what we can and can't do in this home. So when I was old enough, I bought and sold plenty of homes. I own a duplex or two in Michigan now. I'm so proud. One of my best friends just sold a home. He bought about 6 years, 7 years ago in Michigan for about 6,000. And he held that home, rented it the whole time. He just sold it for 95,000.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So those things are not so basically not only building wealth for myself through real estate, but also educating others is what helps me and what makes me want to push forward. And again, it all stems from my why, right? My mom
Mhm.
wanted us to have a home when we were young, and she was never able to make that happen before her untimely passing. And so, therefore, everyone I put into a home, I fulfill her dream within them. And if that's them buying a home, that's them buying an investment home, if that's me educating them on how to take the particular steps to do those things. So,
That's great. Early
mhm,
on, when we first started this podcast, we had Jay Papasan on, and he talked about a number of different ways of thinking about wealth, and one of them was health. And so I know that you just mentioned before we went live on here that you spent an hour and a half at the gym this morning. And so what version of physical health helps you to run the business the way that you
mhm.
run it at the level you run it, and ultimately contributes to that life by design? Where does that come in? Because I know what I do know about you is that you go to the gym often, and also you've been on this journey of no alcohol, right? For I don't know how many days is it now because you track the days, right?
Yes, I track the days. So no alcohol has been 600 days as of today.
Whoa, look at that. Okay.
Yes.
So I want to know about the health journey. I want to know about the physical journey. How does that contribute to your real estate wealth?
Health for me is not a thing I do. It's a way of life,
Mhm.
right? Getting up in the morning, going to the gym instead of scrolling and watching TV and messing around. Going to the
And what
gym
time did you get up to go to the gym?
4:30. I was up at 4:30 today. Yeah.
Is
So
that
normally
normal?
I no, normally I go around 5:30 or 6,
Same difference to
but
me. Same difference to me.
yeah.
4:35, 6 is
Yeah.
all the same. But okay, keep going. Yeah.
But I woke up early today.
Yeah.
Somebody was knocking in my mind, and I don't know who it was. So I figured I'd just go to the gym instead. But
Okay. Okay.
it just essentially, I think that when you feel good about yourself, you're able to project a different feeling when you're out and about around people as well. Being confident about who you are and what you put out. And I try to put the best energy out into the world as I can. And so I equate that to working out, eating good, living good, and taking care of your body and just
Mhm.
manifesting good things into your life. So
Mhm.
I have started listening to this book that I seen it online and he posted it. And so uh The Gap in the Gain.
Okay.
So I've been listening to that book, yeah, and it's really have been eye-opening. It's like I've been living in the gap. And living in the
Tell us
gap
what
is
that
more,
means and a little more about that book and tell us what that means.
yeah. So living in the gap is more or less about things you just want to have and then you're obsessing about and things that, you know, is not in your goals. It's something that you just stating that I want to have that. And you're so obsessed about that thing and it's controlling your life.
Mhm.
Whereas you living in the game and you're saying, uh, I don't need it. So in the gap is a need and the gain is a want, right? You want it, but you don't have to have it.
Mhm.
And I'm okay where I'm at right now. Now I'm gonna live in my gain and go out and put good things in the world and go and accomplish these goals that I have for myself. So I seen Keith James post a book and
Mhm.
I've seen it on his Instagram story and so I went to get it. I haven't told him yet, so if you can tell him. Yeah. So that book is really I just been listening to it in the gym this morning and it just
Yeah.
continued on in my car and I'm just like, whoa, like I've been really living in the gap and I need to start transforming myself into living in the game and being happy with where I'm at and focus on the goal. And the author said, somebody was asking him to help him out and he said, that's not in my goal. That's not in my
Okay.
goal. I have nothing
Yeah.
to do with that. That has nothing to do with me. It's not in my goal. And so it's been real eye-opening as of just the first three chapters. So I'm excited about it.
I like that conversation and I love that you're excited about it. I like where we're going with this conversation because we are recording this in May of 2025, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, specifically when we talk about it for realtors practicing self-care, that's where this conversation of you caring about your health and going to the gym. Do you do that every morning you go to the gym?
Every morning, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, I go to church on Sunday morning, so I don't really do that. So the thing about me is like I do when you talk about mental health awareness month, that's huge for me, right? I
Mm-hmm.
again, where I derive from, we don't talk about mental health, right? And in our community, we don't talk about mental health. We don't do those types of things. And so I actually went to therapy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of past trauma. You know, my mom passed when I was 14 years old, and I hung on
Mm-hmm.
to that. And so that's the first person that you ever love. For me,
Mm-hmm.
it was my
Mm-hmm.
mother. And so when that it was just ripped away from me, like literally ripped away from me, I I moved forward and how I was able to stay in tune because she put so much into me. But in hindsight, I look back and over my life on how I go, I buried a lot of things. I buried a lot of things in order to just try to be successful, and
Mm-hmm.
make her happy. But now that I'm old enough to realize where those things are, I'm able to mentally understand, like, okay, I gotta let this out. I can't just hold this in because it's bottling up other things. So.
Hmm. And so you did that, and we've had several therapists on here because it is obviously a huge contributing factor to being successful and things that people hold on to and things that are in their past minds. In fact, I'm thinking of even Corey Wright. He came to Family Reunion. He was also on our podcast as well. But something that stuck with me that he said was he struggled with being biracial, and once he finally became okay with who he was, his business took off, and so you're saying once I got over that trauma that I had held on to, I was able to move forward in a different way. And so you do the therapy, you do the exercise, you take care of your body by watching what you put in it, what you don't put in it, and all of these things. How do you think that contributes to the way that you run your real estate business and the success that you've had in your real estate business?
Well, the way I get up in the morning and go to the gym and do the things, if it's not in your calendar, it don't exist. Is it done in your schedule? It don't exist. And so I'm more mindful of what is going on in my life and how to handle my time.
Mhm.
Time management is the biggest thing of all. And also, I'm able to allow my director of operations to handle more of the things that she needs to handle. Because before you just, no, I can do it, I can do it. And now when you're living in a free spirit and a more of an open mind, you're able to let other people delegate and do the things that they need to do, to actually capitalize on that leverage. And so I think now it's just my business is more disciplined. It's more disciplined and it's more free flowing, I should say.
And so how does being disciplined allow you more time and to be free flowing? 'Cause so for some people, that's an oxymoron, right? You say, I'm disciplined, therefore I have freedom. And they're confused by that. They're like, I don't want to be disciplined. I just want to have the freedom. How does being disciplined, how does being disciplined actually provide you with that freedom?
You can't have one without the other, I don't feel. So when you're disciplined, you're doing the things you need to do in a timely manner and you're getting it done, which gives you more time on the back end to handle the things that you need to handle. So it frees up your life when you take care of what you need to take care of. You put it in the schedule and you do what you need to do. I even have my haircut in my weekly haircut in the calendar,
Hmm.
because church, my alarm goes off to go to church. Just different things. It's telling me what I need to do, where I need to be. And it's not as somebody's telling me to do it, it's me reminding myself of this is what I need to do. Therefore, now I'll get there on time. I'll be there when I need to be there, and that will give me more time to do what I need to do.
That's good. That's good. So time management is important to you. How you schedule your time, your calendar is obviously you go to the gym, you have a regiment, you're pretty disciplined in all of those things with your time, with your lifestyle. And that's allowed you to be a great realtor for all of the people that you serve. I want to talk about that for a minute here, about the people that you serve, and how to get people into home ownership and how you go about promoting and helping people get into home ownership. I think at one point in this conversation, you started about saying you had the privilege of helping a certain number of families achieve wealth. What does that look like? What could we all be doing to go out and support other people getting into not just being in the real estate industry and being real estate sales professionals, but acquiring real estate and helping promote home ownership? How do you go about doing that?
I've been blessed to be able to get my name out, right? And so people in the community know, especially in our community, know who I am. If they choose to use me or not, that's another story. But I also tell them that I'm here to help them as well. So I do different things. I strategically place myself in different places, different restaurants. I will just now. I mean, we have Fiesta. I don't know. I know y'all don't know about Fiesta, but we have Fiesta coming. They do big on medals. So I made a Fiesta medal, right? So what I did was
What's Fiesta?
it's a big old party for 2 weeks here in the streets of San Antonio that they
Okay.
don't have no school today because they
Because of Fiesta? 'Cause school's closed because of Fiesta.
schools closed because of Fiesta. They downtown
Okay.
at the Fiesta parade. So
Okay.
yeah. Um and so but they're big. San Antonio got this thing called chicken on a stick, right? And it's huge for Fiesta. I mean, they sell thousands of them. So it's a black owned restaurant, and I went and I spent X amount of dollars and I gave X amount of Fiesta medals. Say whoever walks in, get a free chicken on a stick and give them a Fiesta medal. Right.
Okay.
But now you have my logo. And then you say, oh, the KS Richard Group. One time or another, you're going to look it up and see who it is. And so they're going to figure that out. So just marketing, the biggest thing is marketing, I think, and putting yourself in different places for people to see. And then also, I'm big on getting testimonials from clients and getting clients to actually say what you did for them instead of you saying what you did for them. Because when the person is actually saying what you did for them and posting that and pushing it through
Mhm.
that wide world wide web, um, it's going to reach people better than if I do it. Because if I do it, they say Keto's bragging. If somebody else do it, they say, "Wow, that's amazing. Keto helped him."
Mhm.
So it's a difference.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then how does that inspire other people to get into real estate to promote home? Do you do any home buyer classes? What are the things you do?
I have a thing we call, I branded this, I know we're trying to do it. It's a thing called ribs and tips, real estate investment and business tips. So ribs and tips, right? And then so we go to my client's restaurant, Purple Pig, and we actually give out free rib tips. And I bring in people. So I speak a little bit about real estate home ownership. I got a mortgage consultant to come in and speak about that. But I'll bring in somebody from like life insurance, somebody from talking about business credit, somebody talking about just personal credit to fix your personal credit, get business credit, to get business funding, all those different things that help them versus just pushing home ownership down their throat. I'm
Hmm.
also going to give them different ways to build their business, whether it's through life insurance, whether it's through building your new business, whether it's through making your LLC, getting websites, all those different things I bring into that ribs and tips. And
Hmm.
so people are actually able to gain information on not only how to buy homes, how to start businesses, how to get funding for your business, how to get business credit, and different things like that. So they say, oh, well, not only is he helping me buy a home, but he's helping me start my own business and how to grow that business as well.
Hmm.
Another thing I do is I go into a local Smoothie King that I have a relationship with her, and I go in and I'll just get about X amount of dollars worth of a gift card. And we sit there, we set a table up, the team and I, we have our branded t-shirts on. And whoever comes in, get a free smoothie. We just talk to them about real estate that they want to put their name down. We'll call them later and get information like that as well. So,
Okay. Yeah.
hmm
I now I'm gonna totally switch topics again. I'm all over
yeah.
the place. I realize this, but I'm gonna because early on you said when I asked you how you got into real estate, you mentioned a mentor had invited you into real estate. And the reason I wanted to just talk a little bit about that as well was because I think all of these things contribute to building wealth. You talked about, your time management, your discipline, your calendar, taking care of yourself, the things you do out in the community. All of these tie into being successful and building wealth. But most people at some point have somebody who's introduced them to some of this way of life, the real estate. No one succeeds alone, right? We know that nobody succeeds alone. And if that's the case, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about this mentor and how he encouraged you and invited you into this wonderful world of real estate and the impact that that had on you.
There was kind of a two-headed monster. So Ruben passed away a couple years ago. So rest in peace to Ruben. But he's actually from Detroit. And I used to go to the barber shop and he would always sit in there and talk about he said, but he's a new home salesperson for DR Horton. And so he
Mhm.
used to talk about that all the time. And I used to just listen and try to figure out. And he said, man, you got the personality to do it. You have the look to do it. You should be out there, being in the real estate world instead of sitting behind some desk. You need to get out there and do it, man. You'll kill it. And I'm like, all right, Ruben, whatever. And he would tell me again, all right, Ruben. So then a guy, he's from New York, Donovan Jackson. He owns a company called the Noble Group Realty out in Cibolo, Texas. And I, at the time I was married and we moved to Cibolo and he was our real estate agent. We were just moving in Texas. So he basically rented us a home. he was like, man, I just get the vibe from you, and you need to get into real estate. You got that look, and everybody kept saying, I have that look, I have that look, and
What's
I'm
the
like,
real estate look? What does that look
I,
like?
I don't know. I guess, So I was like, well, okay, whatever. So then I started to really take heed at it because I got tired of sitting behind a cubicle and not really reaching my full potential. And so once there wasn't all those real estate TV shows and stuff out. And so now uh, I kind of see what they were saying and I understand what they were saying. And it's just probably the energy that I was giving off and the knowledge that I had, the little or so knowledge that I had at the time, made them feel like I would do a good job with that. So
Hmm.
I'm appreciative of them bringing me in. And Donovan, I mean, he has his real estate company, a title company, got a mortgage company. He built the event center that was inside the new Noble Group office, and then they moved back to the old home because the city bought the event center from him. It's just absolutely amazing that all the
Hmm.
things that he do. My first family reunion was in Orlando.
Yes.
I went to Orlando,
Hmm.
and I had no idea it was. I mean, the amount of people that looked like me that was successful in this business blew my mind.
Hmm.
Absolutely blew my mind.
Hmm.
And it just made me made me hungrier, I should say, to not only learn, but also figure out who those people was. If they know it or not, I did my research on them. I figured out who they were, what they did, where they derived from, how they're doing. Um, and it literally blew my mind. So I appreciate those individuals that just were up on in panels and on stage and doing different things. And a lot of the people that were going to be on this podcast, and for sure Mr. Dixon, he's been very gracious to just even take one-on-one time with me and stuff like that. So I'm just
Hmm.
appreciative of those people because I don't even know if I would still be at Keller Williams if it wasn't for that. So
Hmm.
I'm thankful and I'm grateful that I'm able to even now call those people my friends. So
Yeah, I think that's incredibly powerful. The mentorship that you've had from
hmm
Donovan, all the way to being able to see other people that look like you and how
hmm
successful you can be, to see
hmm
what it can be. That's very much so my similar
yeah.
story with Emmerich and Bo, which I tell all the time. I too had went to a family reunion, and Emmerich and Bo were teaching a class and leading panels and
hmm
showcasing the excellence that I had never seen. And so that motivates you, to also be like, well, if they can do it, then surely I can do it. And also to
Exactly.
have the support of them in doing it. So, how
hmm
do you carry that forward? Or as people often like to say, pay it forward. How do you pay that kind of relationship forward for other people who may be new agents or new in the real estate world or just considering getting into real estate or need somebody to give them the push like Donovan gave you? How do we pay that forward for other people?
So I can tell you this, Monique and I in our market center, we're very strong on trying to make sure we have a seat at the table. She said the same thing I did when we came in and interviewed and checked out the market center. There was not anybody that looked like us on the wall, meaning ALC, right? And so we made sure we got a seat at the table. I'm an Ignite instructor. And I also make sure that anybody I see that look like me, I gravitate to them in the market center. And then in the community itself, a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to do real estate. I want to do real estate." And I'm sure you get that a lot too. But I tell them, listen, go to class, Champion School of Realty. I can push you to who you need to go to, who you need to talk to. When you're done with that, come back to me and I will make sure that you get as many tools as I have to give you. I have no problem in helping people. I have no problem mentoring people, but you got to do the work too. We can't do it all for them. If you don't go and get your license, I can't help you. You can talk about it, but you know the saying, don't talk about it, be about it. So if I had to sit in my cubicle and do this thing on work hours, you can either do it at the evening time or go to class on a weekend or something. So,
Sure, absolutely.
mhm,
Well, Kito, you've been a wealth of knowledge. Thank you for sharing your information with us today. If there was one thing you would want the listening audience to take from your conversation and your knowledge and your wisdom
mhm.
of starting a real estate business, doing so, with the intention of living a life by design and making your own path, what's the one thing you would want to leave the audience with?
I would definitely say have confidence in yourself. Self-confidence is going to push you and propel you further than anything. And that don't mean being overly conceited or overly stuck up. It's just being confident in the person that you are, living in your purpose. The book, Eric Thomas, You.
Mhm.
He talks about finding your why. And when you find your why, you move to your purpose. And then when you move out of your purpose, you go to your greatness. But a lot of people get stuck in their purpose and they don't ever get to move over to their greatness. And so try to live in that purpose and move over to your greatness. So
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for being here. Thank you for being a
thank you
guest
for
on the
having
Color
me.
of Money podcast. And thank y'all for tuning in for another wonderful episode. And we will catch you next week.
This podcast is for general informational purposes only. The views, thoughts, and opinions of the guest represent those of the guest and not Keller Williams Realty LLC and its affiliates, and should not be construed as financial, economic, legal, tax, or other advice. This podcast is provided without any warranty or guarantee of its accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or results from using the information.